But again, one great question that came up via email is most of the organizations that you're going to be in may not be AI minded, meaning they're not going to try the new toys. They just want to do things the same way as before. There's only there's a couple solutions that I proposed. One, interns are already primed for this. If you got young talent coming out of school and you don't have an internship program, they are so easy at implementing at almost a intermediate to expert level in no time at all. I have had interns come in, have never used any of these tools. I said, this is the outcome I want. I've heard that this tool can do it. And in no time, they're able to figure it out. So it's just that, their malleable mindset. Now, the rest of the organization, there is a pro and con. We talked about my legal bill going down by 90% because we're doing a lot of the drafting inside before we send it out to the attorneys. But at the same time, I'm not an attorney. The endpoints, I'm still using attorneys, I'm still using accountants, I'm still using auditors, I'm using experts at the endpoint. But instead of having it sourced out to the paralegal or junior attorney, because I've got 90% of the work done, I'm sending it to the top attorneys. We're using dramatically less time, but I'm getting their level of expertise at the higher rate because it's going to be a lot cheaper now that I don't have to do all the basic boilerplate development of contracts, even going through the patent process. I think I told many of you I went through this process. So I wrote a patent in April, took about a month and a half. It should have taken 2.5 years to do that patent. When I worked with the law firm to build out the patent, they communicated to me that they were using an AI to understand my patent and work with it to build out the patent filing. And when they were sending me back and forth responses, I had my own patent AI agent to understand all of their nonsense, to try to disseminate it from a simple business perspective so that I could go back and forth with them and have some kind of understanding. It was awesome. Instead of taking the first 2 patents, it probably took about 1.5 years to finish the patent and then get it filed. It took probably another 6 to 12 months to work with the patent attorneys, make sure everything good to go. April was when I had the idea this year. It was done last month. For those of you who've gone through a patent process, this is about 100 plus pages of patent documentation. 16 dependent claims, and I think like 4 independent claims. For those of you who are attorneys, you guys probably know it better than me. It was a pretty extensive document. To be able to do all of that, there's absolutely no way that I would have been able to do it without AI. It's just physically impossible to do that. On the flip side, I've heard a lot of people start outsourcing their brain and decision-making to the AI. I was just teaching at Georgia Tech, like I said, last week, Monday. And when I was teaching a class, there's an MIT study that came out where students and kids and people who are using the AI to do the reasoning, brain activity has gone down over 40%. I'm publishing an article about this and kind of all these different components. But if you start outsourcing your brain reasoning skills to the AI, brain activity is actually going on. You're literally getting dumber. And it may not be as big of a deal to you, but it really is a big deal for the next generation coming in, where all they're doing is using these tools to make a lot of these decisions. This sounds unconnected to also Jason's question, but I actually think it's the same. If you're not watching what these tools are doing and you're outsourcing the way that it's doing out to the tool without really good quality controls and instructions, it can absolutely wreak havoc. All right, we'll go to the next topic, automated workflows. All right, so all of us do a whole bunch of sequence of habits. And if you haven't read that book, Power of Habit or Atomic Habits, it's a really great book. But there's a whole bunch of sequence and routines in this process. one of the things that we do is we build these habits and routines, but we don't really think about them. One of the things I've been doing with a couple of our new employees, and even for myself, is I'm documenting. You remember all that god-awful SOPs, all those standard operating protocols? Well, those SOPs now can be translated into automated workflows, which can be step-by-step instructions to automate your life. There's a great company called ServiceNow. I think it's 200 billion market cap. Don't quote me exactly, but they've built all of that on automated workflows. Now integrating that process with AI tools, it becomes a lot easier. So Jason asked a question about Wall Street Journal. Coincidentally, I have the Wall Street Journal up here. I also have the Financial Times up here. I also have Bloomberg up here. And there are so many articles that are going on, and nobody has the time to read all these. God forbid you're on TV trying to watch the news and not have a heart attack at the same time. So with all this information, you actually only want to know about your stuff most important. And maybe if you had free time on the weekend or whatever, you're going to go read the rest of the articles and there might be some one interesting thing. Well, in Comet Browser, they now have tasks, which are automated workflows. So if you click this whole section where it says Open Background Assistance, you're going to see account settings, and in account settings, it says tasks. So tasks are just reoccurring things that you need to get done every day. So this is a very simple task that I did, where I said schedule task, instructions, analyze today's news from my accounts, ft.com, Bloomberg, and Wall Street Journal. These are paid accounts that I have on the topics of direct lending, private credit, non-prime lending. So I'm in a non-prime consumer space. I run a private credit fund, and I want to know if there's anything that's going on every single day across all these major news sources. You can add in other news sources if you want, whatever it is you want to use. And it's running now every single day at 5:30 in the morning. It sends it in the Perplexity app, which I have on my phone, sends an email and sends a mobile message. And you can actually select which model that you want to do. Either at this point, just the research model works for me. You could do the search model. Either way is fine. Then what you can do is you can make a shortcut for this task. So you can reference it anytime that you want, and it's under shortcuts. So what I did is if I go on and I type /news, it's going to run those instructions. So I'll show you how it works. So again, you've got your Wall Street Journal up. It's right on the front page. You're logged in. It's key that you have to be logged into these paid accounts if you wanted to actually do the analysis. Got my Financial Times, I'm logged in there, and I've got Bloomberg. So I'm going to click Assistant, and I'm just going to type /news, click Enter. It's going to analyze all the news from every one of those papers, compile it and streamline it in exactly the format that I need to get me exactly the news that I'm interested in. So we've got an article on Aries. You just click it at that point and it's just going to pop up. BDCs, U.S. insurance, auto, non-prime lending, payment in kind. So it goes through, it organized it by the different newspaper, created the headlines, did a summary for me, step by step. So yes, I know you want to read every single article in all these news sources, but I don't have that time, and most of you don't have that time either. So I could make those instructions probably a lot more comprehensive, but I wanted to kind of show you a quick example. Now, every day, it searches all those sources, sends me that information. I also use Grok to create tasks. Reason why I use Grok, I've put it inside the Hive Research website. Grok is really good at real-time information and news. So if you're going beyond Bloomberg, Financial Times, Wall Street Journal, what I do is I do a very similar prompt, and it goes through the entire internet to find this type of information, pare it down to me. It pops up in my email. I click one button. It's got all the information I want on health, on AI, robotics, the lending markets, the consumer lending market, whatever it is that I want, and it creates an output for me. So Perplexity has this. You can set it up in Comet Browser, so it does it for you for these paid accounts. The downside of the other tools like Grok and some of these other automated task workflows is that if it's behind a username and password, it will not be able to access it. But because Perplexity is in the browser, it's able to control it, scan all the articles, and tell you information. I could even do one right now. What are the top news items across all the news sources? Bloomberg, WSJ, that is breaking news. So obviously you wouldn't really need to do that because it's on the front page of every one of these sites. But instead of searching 3 different websites, you can consolidate it into one. You could also say, consolidate all these into rank order by priority and a link with a quick summary. So depending on how you want to consume information, you could have it give a summary. Rest in peace, Dick Cheney, 84. But it also shows you the links for each one of those articles. Looking at fraud here, Norway oil fund, and it's going to come up. If I don't give it really good instructions, it's not going to really give a good output. But the point is that instead of now going through all these emails, all these websites, all these different places, I've been able to consolidate it by going through and creating an automated workflow, in this case, using Comet Browser.